Is lighting one of the biggest challenges for you? Well, today we're going to go over some of the basics and some of the common mistakes I see when people use lighting for the first time. For those of you who are new to the channel, I've been a full-time photographer for over 15 years, and I have done a ton with strobes. I love lighting. I'm obsessed with strobes. In fact, I am the worst natural light shooter you'll ever meet. I hate natural light. But strobes are life. Before we get started, just a quick disclaimer. I am not sponsored by Godox, although I would love to be. They did send me out a couple of lights. It's not a typical review, so I'm not going to go over all the details and the specs because I'm not really overly technical. If you look back at all the videos I've posted here, I've got almost 200 videos, and the majority of them all talk about lighting. But today we're going to go over some of the common mistakes that I see. And when I say that I'm a big fan of Godox, I'm not just talking out of my butt. I've got 11 strobes. I've got a 600, 2 400s, and 8 200s. Do I need all of them? Yes. And I want more. In addition to the strobes, I also have 9 of the LED tubes, and those are amazing for accent lights. You see a lot of them being used here, and they can also be used for photo and especially for video. They have put out a ton of gear that is really beneficial for the majority of my career as a photographer, so I highly recommend them as a brand, but more about that later. One of the most common mistakes I see when people use strobes, and especially if they're using a background, they put the subject too close to the background. When the strobe is too far away, and then when the subject is too close to the subject, the light hits both the subject and the background relatively at the same time, which is going to make the subject kind of blend into the background. Another common mistake I see is people using the lights a little bit too central. What that's going to do is it's going to flatten out the image. Now, if you're shooting regular portraits, maybe a flatter look is what you want. But in fitness, what we try to do is try to make the muscles pop as much as possible. And so we really want to try to add the highlights and retain as many shadows as we can. If you watch a lot of videos on YouTube, a lot of YouTube portrait photographers, honestly, they all light the same. 45 up, 45 off to the side, either left or the right. While that's not a bad light setup, it's not ideal for the kind of content that I shoot. A single light is better than no light, but the more lights you can add, then the more you can really make the image pop and stand out. Another common mistake that I see is when the modifier or when the light is aimed directly at the subject's face. What that's going to do is it's going to put the majority of all the light on the face. If someone's wearing a dress that covers all the way down to the ankles, not really a big issue. If somebody's wearing jeans, again, not a big issue. But if somebody's wearing shorts or skirts, or if they're doing anything in a gym, if all the light is focused on the face, then how can you see the quads? How can you see the muscles? How can you see the legs? How can you see the skin on the lower part of the body? When the light is unevenly placed on the subject, you're going to get variances in not only the color, but then also the brightness of the skin. If you feather, that means when you rotate the light slightly in front of the subject, then what you're going to do is you're going to light from the outside of the modifier, which is going to light up the subject a little bit more evenly, hopefully from top to bottom, depending on the size of your modifier. You'll notice here, I do have a grid on the 24-inch octo. The purpose of the grid also is to make sure that the light does not spread everywhere. When I shoot fitness, I want to try to isolate as much of the light in a very precise location, so that way I can put the light exactly where I want it. What I don't want is I don't want lights to randomly hit the background, because again, if the background's lit up the same as the subject, then the subject's going to blend in to the background a little bit too much. So in that shot, I did put the lights towards the side. I feathered it. It was in front of in this case, the object or the subject. By doing that, it also makes sure that the background still retains some darkness. It prevents the light spilling onto the background. Here I have the light overhead. The light overhead is a nice vibe, but one thing that you want to be sure of is if the light is too far behind, then you're going to put everything on the front side in shadows. So if you're shooting fitness and you want to showcase the abs and the core and the shoulders and the triceps and biceps, if the light does not have a direct line of sight to that muscle group, you run the risk of hiding too much, as opposed to the opposite. When the light is too much in the front side, then you're taking away all the shadows, which again flattens the muscles. There's a fine line between too much on the front side and then too much on the back. But a light overhead, depending on what you're shooting, you could get some really nice definition on the traps and the shoulders. You might get some of the upper pecs. It's a really super moody and dramatic look. But again, if you can tell here, the detail on this speaker has a lot of texture. If the light is too far behind, then you don't see any of the texture on the camera side. So it's dramatic, yes, but you can run the risk of erasing too much detail. the direction of the light overhead, if it's aimed more down as opposed to down and then turned slightly towards the camera, depending on the angle, that's going to directly impact how much light hits the background. So you can tell here the background is a little bit brighter here and it's a little bit darker here. And the reason for that is because the light is aimed more downward in one shot, and then the light is aimed slightly towards the camera in another. So here we add in a second light. Although one light is good and one light is better than 0 lights, 2 lights is better than 1. Now in fitness, the sweet spot is at least 3. 3 is the absolute minimum that I would suggest if you're trying to get into fitness. That's going to allow you to have 2 lights specifically for accent lights and then 1 light as your key. On this shot, you can tell the light's coming from the camera left and it's going across. Then this is when there's a light on the right side coming across as well. I like this shot because it has a lot more contrast, but if you notice, this was a misfire. And so because the light did not go off on the camera left side, you get a lot of that moodiness, a little bit more of that dramatic vibe. So sometimes your best or your favorite shots could be from happy accidents. You can see the modifier in the shot here, but with content aware fill, with all the editing apps we have nowadays, I want to get the light in as close as I can, knowing that I can Photoshop it out really easily. I can just crop it out. The closer you get the light towards the subject, the light doesn't have to work as hard. You get more of the impact of the flash. And 2, you can isolate the subject from the background a little bit easier as well. Although these lights were not meant to fit in the S brackets, you can see here how I got it in. I just turned it sideways and then I rotated it. For me, I always want to have lights off camera so that way I can contour and shape and mold and try to add definition where it's needed. On this shot, what I'm doing is I'm going to aim the light at the background so that way it blows it out. And then I'm adding in the other light so that way you see a little bit of highlights on the other side. So that way you still maintain the definition. And of course, you can do the same thing with the light overhead and then the same thing with the light slightly behind. By moving the modifier to and from, what that does is it changes how much of that highlight is going to hit whatever side that light's on. So the lights move around quite a bit. Now, the biggest mistake I see a lot of people doing when they use lights for the first time is they put a light up and then they never change it. The cool thing about this is you have the light by itself, and then it has a built-in trigger. And the trigger is camera specific. So I do have one for Canon, and then I also have one for Sony as well. And so these are 2 separate things. They connect via magnet. So this is camera specific. So this one is for Canon, but then I also have one for Sony too. So that way, if you have one of these and you have one of these lights, they're interchangeable. So if I had this for my Canon, and I'm shooting, and then I want to hand off the flash to a buddy, take it off, and then put it on the Sony trigger. First impressions, I'll be totally honest with you, is this something that I could incorporate into my workflow working with clients? No. It's not something that would be beneficial for me with client work, but it is something that I think would be highly beneficial for someone trying to get into photography and who doesn't want to spend a ton on lights to get started. Once you learn the basics of light, once you learn the principles of lighting, then those same principles are going to apply when you get bigger and more lights. The same principles you use with these, they're the same principles you use with the 200s, the 400s, 300s, 600s. So this is an easy way to get started. It's an easy way for you to instantly up the quality of your images. When I first bought my gear, a Canon Speedlight was like $650. They're still pretty expensive. Godox really revolutionized, the industry by bringing more affordable gear. Being able to get the light off of the camera is a game changer. Then you can start really shaping and sculpting and making your images look more 3D. So do I recommend it for someone starting out? Absolutely. Once you learn the basics of lighting, you're going to be obsessed. If you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. If you learned something, let me know as well. My goal is to help you become the best photographer that you can be using lights. Hopefully you learned something, and if you did, come back and see us again in the next one. Until then, keep shooting.
I don't know if God exists, but I do know that Godox does. The lights that I use on my shoots, and I love them. Yeah, I do. So sponsor me, Godox, please sponsor me, Godox, oh please sponsor me, Godox, oh please. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have you. I'm in the dark without you, and I love you. Yeah, So sponsor me.